Next video is actually about to be very, very interesting. We can see CNBC's Brian Sullivan interviews a deep fake version of himself. If you guys don't know what deep fake is, it's essentially taking someone's face and kind of putting it on someone else's face. You know, it'd be kind of like if you made me look like Trump and I'm sitting here talking, but it looks like Trump is here. You know, it's essentially AI. Just think about it as like artificial intelligence. But what real Brian, as you can see here, it says real Brian versus fake Brian or faux Brian, you know, it's going to be an interview between him and the AI version of himself. So I thought this would be really fun, real good for us to kind of look at and get a view at like where is AI right now? Does it seem realistic? Does it seem fake? Because, you know, we're getting into the era now where people are starting to scam. They're starting to call and sound like other people that you would know and things like that and scam you in that manner. You know, sometimes you're like, hey man, like I just had to use somebody else's phone, but they hear your voice. You can't tell it's AI. You send them money. So be very, very careful during these times as technology progresses, because just as technology progresses, and that could be a great thing for us, possibly like, you know what I'm saying, make sure you have the perfect amount of sauce on your McDonald's burger every single time. There can also be negatives, and there will always be evil powers who want to use this for a negative reason. So let's get into this and see what this interview is like. I feel like this should be pretty cool.
Do you ever wish you didn't have to sacrifice clean for gentle? Tide Free and Gentle is
always
the
an ad,
gentleness you
people.
need with the Tide stain fighting power you trust.
Downy Free and Gentle has no perfumes, no dyes, and softens clothes for sensitive skin.
Also look for Bounce Free and Downy Free.
Let's go ahead and interview faux Brian. Brian, does journalism have a future?
Absolutely, Brian. Journalism and media play a critical role in providing information and keeping the public informed.
Okay, now, think about it like this too. If you close your eyes or you're on the phone with somebody, that AI sounds relatively similar to him. I can tell a slight difference, but I don't know if it's enough that, like, let's say I'm on a phone call with him, that I would question it, you know, and everything like that. Especially if it responds exactly when I do and everything like that. This is interesting.
While the industry has faced disruption and challenges with the rise of digital media and social platforms, there will always be a demand for quality journalism and storytelling. Adapting to changes in technology and audience behavior will be key to a sustainable future for journalism. But I believe that the fundamental importance of journalism in society will never change. What are your thoughts on the future of journalism?
Okay, that is absolutely stunning. Gosh, what should I ask myself? Start macro, I guess.
Stuck. He's like, this is kind of weird.
Is artificial intelligence going to be good for humanity, or is it, faux Brian, a threat to humanity?
That's a great question, Brian. Artificial intelligence has the potential to improve our lives in many ways, from enhancing healthcare and transportation systems to optimizing business operations and saving energy. However, it's also important to acknowledge the potential risks and challenges associated with AI, such as job displacement and privacy concerns. As with any technological advancement, it's essential to approach AI with caution and consider its impact on society as a whole. By working towards responsible development and deployment of AI, we can harness its benefits while mitigating its risks.
What is the greatest movie?
I can't lie, y'all. The thing that makes me scared of this is these responses that this AI is giving is the type of response that I feel if you're not an extraordinary human, you could definitely give these points, but you would need to go into Google, learn a little bit, pull it out, and everything like that. While the AI is just able to just spit it. Like, it's able to just... Oh man, that's insane. The AI made excellent points, not only for the good of AI, but it also made points that are genuine points about what is concerning about AI. That quickly off the top of its head. I bet if you asked real Brian that same question, I highly doubt real Brian will give you as good of a response. So then, if you can't see real Brian, is there a reason for Brian?
Ever made?
Well, Brian, that's a difficult question. There are so many incredible movies out there, each with its own unique qualities and appeal. It can be tough to choose just one as the greatest ever made. However, some films have stood the test of time and continue to captivate audiences to this day. Classics like The Godfather, Gone with the Wind, and Casablanca are often regarded as some of the greatest films ever made in cinematic history. Other modern films such as The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, The Shawshank Redemption, and Forrest Gump have also gained widespread critical acclaim and cultural significance. Ultimately, the greatest movie ever made could vary based on personal preferences and individual experiences. What's your favorite movie, Brian?
My favorite movie is The Right Stuff, based on the Tom Wolfe book, the true story about the Mercury astronauts and General Chuck Yeager. What are the 3 most interesting countries to visit in the world right now?
The Right Stuff is a great movie, Brian. As for your question, there are...
Oh, my. The AI responded to him before it started his question. Wow. Oh, man. I could see a lot of wrong going with this. Like I said, imagine you calling up grandmas every day. You got AI like this. You've tracked their son or their daughter's voice, and everything like that, and you're able to mimic it using AI. The grandma could, or someone could believe they're having a full conversation in which the person asked them for money, and they're like, yeah, this is my son, this is my daughter, this is my grandson. Gives them the money, not knowing they're just giving it to a robot. Real Brian and faux Brian sound similar. Faux Brian's honestly a little bit smarter than real Brian, which makes sense because it's got access to database on database on database, where real Brian has to actually use his head, But that is insane. It replied to Brian, and now it's moving on to its point.
So many incredible countries to visit in the world, each with its own unique culture, history, and attractions. Here are 3 countries that I find particularly interesting to visit right now. 1, Japan. Japan is a fascinating blend of ancient traditions and modern technology, offering visitors a unique experience like no other.
Brian's like, that's me, like me. Like, I want to go to Japan.
Like temples of Kyoto, Japan has something for everyone. 2, Egypt. For history and archaeology enthusiasts, Egypt is a must-visit destination. The country's rich ancient civilization is showcased through iconic landmarks like the pyramids of Giza and the temples of Luxor and Karnak. 3, New Zealand. Nature lovers will enjoy the breathtaking landscapes of New Zealand.
He picked some really good choices
and glaciers
for a
to
lot of
serene
really
lakes
different
and beaches.
people, like different
the
styles of
country is
people.
also known for its outdoor activities, such as hiking, skiing, and water sports. Of course, there are countless other amazing countries to consider visiting as well, depending on your interests and preferences.
Japan is actually number 1 on my list of places to visit. I've been to Egypt. It is spectacular. Nailed it with Japan. Final question, faux Brian. If you are flying economy class internationally, is it polite to fully recline your seat into the person's space behind you?
Japan is definitely a must-visit destination, Brian. As for your question, it's a bit of a sticky situation. While you do have the right to recline your seat on an airplane, it's always considerate to be mindful of the person behind you. If you're planning on reclining, it's a good idea to do so gradually and check with the person behind you if they're comfortable. It's also courteous to avoid reclining during meal times or when the person behind you is working on a laptop or other device. Ultimately, being respectful and considerate to your fellow passengers is always the best approach when flying economy class internationally.
Nailed it. Absolutely amazing.
He nailed it.
Brian, thank you. John Meyer, I'm going to bring you in. Listen, I probably would answer a little more like, with a little more inflection and humor, but nailed it on Japan. I find it very... where does this go in 3 years? What is, if we do this again in 3 years?
Wow.
What's it going to sound or look like?
Well, in 3 years, what happens with this is because of how immersive this is, what we've seen in our beta testing, which we've made public over the last few weeks, is that these users become intimately, almost attached to these personas to the point where they're friends with them. So in 3 years, I think the future looks like having these sort of AI persona companions in your pocket that you learn from, grow with, and, explore the world with. I think it's an entirely new way of communicating, in this case, with a new form of, in some cases, life.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Jonathan, thank you. Forever Voices. I could see it hurting a company like a Google where you don't need to search for something. You just say, hey, me, What are the top 3 restaurants near me? What would I like the most where I'm standing right now? I think it's amazing. Jonathan Meyer, really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Forever Voices. That was really interesting, right? I mean, yeah.
And think, guys, this was just one AI company, I believe, like he said, called Forever Voice. So this is just one AI company. So there could be much better AIs. Like, I'm sure whatever's over at like Google or like Microsoft, I'm sure they have much more advanced than, you know, this company that, you know, I relatively haven't heard of. Maybe you guys have. But, you know, obviously a big, you know, conglomerate such as Google or Microsoft or something would have like one of the best forms of AI. But I would say this is scary, but this is very... It really shows us what we can do with AI to the point where you really can see somebody build an attachment to these AI systems. I could definitely see this being something like that. It came off friendly. It said everything it needed to do. It kept you nice and well informed. And even though it still had a robotic element to it, it also had, in a way, a personal element to it. It's almost like it's like if a person has the ability to type in their head before they speak, and like you ask them a question and they get to really think and type out what they want to say and then spit the words out to you, you know what I'm saying, and still in a personal and human like manner. Now I want to know what you guys think about this, because to me this was a crazy video. This is actually one of the most videos that I've enjoyed doing on this channel, because it was just very interesting to see the way it played out. What do you guys think about this? Do you guys think this is a great thing? Like, this is going to be beautiful to see how, you know, we as humankind can utilize this type of technology in the future? Or do you guys see this as like a, oh no, we're pushing it way too far. There's no reason why, you know, this guy should be able to interview himself, and himself almost seems like a better or a stronger, faster, smarter version of himself to the AI, to the point where the AI even, you know, told him Japan, which is the number one on his list, and the AI chose it as the number one on his list. So I think that's really crazy. I think that's really insane. Definitely like, comment, and subscribe, guys. You know, all that to keep the channel moving, keep everything pushing. I've been appreciating all the love you guys have been showing me. We definitely gonna get 1,000 eventually on this channel, but I can't do it without you guys. So, you know, I appreciate the love. And we're definitely going to get into the next topic after I get some water.